Good evening, televiewers. It is a pleasure having you again for another edition of Viewpoint on Dbs Television. As usual, we have topics to discuss, but in today's edition, we'll be focused in the back to school in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon, but northwest in particular. And I'll be using this opportunity to greet some few persons watching us back there in the region. Manga Venashus has probably contaminated me, so special greetings to Banga, Lawrence, and wife in my six. Bamenda and Kimbi Immaculate and mother and grandmother Regina watching from Bamugos. Probably it is a special greetings coming from McDonald Tombo and probably from us because they are one of our faithful televiewers back there in the northwest region. To talk about back to school in that particular region, we are having Kimbang Vitalis. He is a permanent or regular guest on the Viewpoint and he is a civil society activist. He'll be accompanied by Mange Venashus. Good evening to you, Kimbang, and thank you very much for being there again.
Good evening, Vanessa. Good evening, televiewers. It has always been my pleasure to be with you at any time I'm needed.
Mange Venashus, special greetings from my end.
Good evening, Vanessa. Thank you for the greetings, and continue in the special greetings. Yesterday I was talking about a childhood friend. Today I want to continue in that very same angle. I'm thinking of another childhood friend. He's still in Yaoundé. He is called Mr. Ban Aaron Bonkin. He is in Yaoundé, and these are people we grew together in the village. When I just call their names, they understand what I mean.
All right.
Kimbang will understand.
Probably you're dedicating the whole of this week to those you grew with.
Actually, to my childhood friend, because it takes, you need to go back. When you revisit those good olden days, you enjoy, you want to say that, how could we turn back the hands of the clock so that we could go back to those days again, Vanessa?
Let me just take an opportunity to greet my friend,
okay,
with whom we started life together. He's a teacher in Bamenda Upstation. He's called Mr. Tiku Odorisus. He's going to be a good friend of mine.
Yes.
All right. All our warm regards to you, televiewers, as well. Viewpoint, at times we need to relax like that. It's not all about tension, okay? So stay tuned. Let us take the first part of the show. That is the questions. And we are still trying to find out Operation Bamenda Clean and school resumption. Are there any implications? Kimbang Vitalis?
Yes.
Yes. Mange Venashus?
Yes, Vanessa, there are.
Yes. So has the operation brought security in the region?
To an extent.
Yes, to an extent. Mange Venashus, do you think it has done so?
No, Vanessa.
No, it hasn't. And now let us have the debate. Operation Bamenda Clean and school resumption. Are there any implications or effect of this campaign? Mr. Kimbang, you think that yes, there are some effects. Some newspapers this morning, when I was watching the press review, they said that Bamenda or the northwest region has recorded the highest record so ever as far as school attendance is concerned. And is it as a result of the operation Keep Bamenda Clean, if I may ask?
Good evening, televiewers. Good evening, Vanessa. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the students and people who braved the odds to register and wrote the GCO level and advanced level. I want to thank my son, Kimbang Sadufonyi, who did very well in the ordinary level certificate, and the rest of friends. I want to believe that schools in Bamenda these days, they have greatly improved as compared to last year. When I talk from an eyewitness point of view. I was in Bamenda on Tuesday, and I saw the anxiety, the enthusiasm, and the love for education that the children exercise. And if you go to Bamenda, most of the schools in town are full with children, and the parents are so excited. So I went around. And I also visited those who are selling books because I've been into that business too for a very long time. they told me that the business has improved, and that as compared to the previous years, they are really making money. That shows that schools in Bamenda have fully resumed. I want to believe that we cannot just say it is because of the Keep Bamenda Clean campaign that was launched in Bamenda. You discover that before October 5th, some of the separatist leaders, they gave a go ahead that schools will resume in Anglophone Cameroon, although they gave it with some conditions. And I think the parents and the rest of the population in the Northwest, they were very, very, very happy. And every parent, every child, when you go to Bamenda and you see the love they have for education, I think if it continues this way, in a few years, Bamenda will regain its status again as the number one region as far as academics or education is concerned. Talking about the Keep Bamenda Clean, it was an operation that many human rights groups cried foul, because as I'm always saying, the separatist leaders, the separatist fighters, they don't have uniforms. There are people that you cannot easily identify them, and so during the cleanup campaign, as we read in most of the newspapers, there were a lot of human rights abuses. So the security measure that was put in Bamenda, there are no bikes moving around the commercial avenue, there are no bikes moving around the main street. So the military believe that with all this, there is no possibility of a separatist fighter using a bike to come and attack the military along these major streets. So I want to believe that if the situation continues the way I saw it in Bamenda, things are fine.
Things might return to normal.
Yes. But another problem is that, when you are in town, you get vibes from town. The bike riders who are using the bike as a means of survival, it is not easy with them over there. I met some of my childhood friends who are bike riders, and they really told me that life is extremely very difficult. Now that bikes are not supposed to run in town, they don't know how they are going to do what they will do before their own children. We have books, we have school fees, we have feeding, we have house rents, and the rest. So it is extremely very, very difficult with them. So I can only plead with government that they should relax their grip on the population. Because when we talk about trusting the military to work hand in hand with them, it depends to the behavior of the military. Because those who are in high offices, the military leaders, they don't even know what is happening in town. Because at times there are people that are just abruptly arrested, and they are forced to pay some amount. And once you pay this type of amount, there's no way a military can be your friend. You develop hatred for them. And when you develop hatred for them, you cannot punish them with information. So what those who are the heads are doing, and what those who are on the ground are doing, or what those who are the head are saying, and what those who are on the ground are doing, might not be so favorable to the population.
All right. Thank you very much, Kimbang Vitalis. Mangavena shoes, what are some of those implications or the effect to Operation Bamenda Clean and school resumption?
Actually, Vanessa, Operation Bamenda Clean that was launched by the military and school resumption, when the operation started in Bamenda, the main city itself, it was a very tough one for the population of Bamenda to bear. And as the 5th of October was approaching, one characteristic of Bamenda, because we had people who had to travel from Bamenda, was that people are running away. Although some separatist fighters, gave in their accord, they supported the idea that schools should go back. Some were against the idea. Some are still even insisting today that schools should not resume. Now, when you have this kind of divided opinion, you see it is, we have gone 1 week into the academic year, and report that we had, like papers were saying as of yesterday, that Bamenda is recording a massive turnout, more than, or since 2017. I was just saying that, okay, let us give some time before we evaluate, because these are the very people in Bamenda who were leaving Bamenda when schools were about to reopen on the 5th. Now, others were running away from the interior parts of the region, coming to the city, because there exists there exists some security within the city as compared to the interiors. In the interiors, they believe that that's where the separatist fighters are. That is where they are dictating their own rules. Now, but when they cannot attempt to come into the city, because they will meet the military who are in the city. But then, when we talk of schools reopening and this cleanup that is continuing, when the military end comes to any quarter, the consequences are high in the sense that, like Kimbang was saying, it is not easy to detect who is an amber and who is not. It suffices that you dress just anyhow in the northwest or southwest region and you attacked an amber. It suffices that they should see you with anything relating to a weapon, you are an amber. With this, so many people are afraid. Now, remember that it was just the same thing like this Boko Haram that started at one point. It made as if it has subsided and later on bounced back. Let us now hope that these boys are not strategizing to come back, because their silence, they always say that the fact that the sun is not shining doesn't mean that it is not up there in the sky. Kimbang was saying something about the incidents or the impact of the operation on the city dwellers. I take example from Nigeria. There's a slogan that Nigerian police force uses. They say, the police is your friend. That is the slogan that they use to make sure that they cooperate with the civilian population. In case of any issue, the population can identify the police. They want to make sure that you feel at ease when you see a police officer. On the contrary, in these two regions, anybody in uniform, nobody sees anybody in uniform in the northwest and southwest region and you feel at ease. Because since they don't know who is an amber, since any other person who is not in uniform is a potential threat to their own security first, and then to the other population, anybody that they see, you can be tagged. You just need to, just to exercise some kind of moves. You may be considered an amber. I remember people were moving up into the northwest region last week, and they were informing them that at any checkpoint, just cooperate with what they are asking. We are talking about the conventional checkpoints and the other unorthodox checkpoints, because there are various checkpoints that are mounted up there. But then the issue here is the operation itself. Once they apply it, it does not guarantee the safety of those who are there, because you don't know when
especially the people and students who have returned to school.
Of course, you don't know whether these amber boys will mingle. And they are not supposed to be old. Some of them we have young, some of them who are even 18 years, 20 years, 22 years. These are school-going ages. And they can mingle within the school population and carry out any act. So the fact that they are going to school, it is still too early. That's when I read papers yesterday morning. I was saying that it is still too early to give this kind of a conclusion. We are just 1 week into it. And that, like they say, it is just an apparent, we are just seeing the peace has not yet been, we can't conclude that we have gone back to normalcy. Because let us give some time. Schools should go like that for 1 month, 2 months, and we'll conclude that no, it has come back for good. Remember, in the northwest region, schools were effective. I take for a locality like Nkambe, in the Nonga Matun division. Schools were effective in Nonga Matun division last year, normally. Schools resumed there. When you look at the images that came from Kambe, you will not believe that is in the northwest region. But then, they have been going on. Why? Because the people decided to say that, no, we are not cooperating with them. We are not cooperating with them.
We do not want them at all.
We don't want them.
It's not a matter of saying that we don't want them. The incumbent man believes very well that there is an Anglophone problem. But
the strategy
to handle it is not punishing ourselves.
Correct.
It's not locking ourselves in the house.
Locking our children.
It's not turning our children into monkeys. So while we are fighting,
permit the children
to go to school. And I want even listen to even to the honorable member of parliament from Cambe. He said it very clear. We recognize that there is an Anglophone problem, but we cannot solve the problem by punishing ourselves. So when you talk about school resumption, yes, in Bamenda, I was talking with my colleagues in the office, and they told me that most of the private schools, they don't have space. The places are full. And you talk about people running away on the first. They were not running away because they wanted to come and they were running from school resumption. No, they were running away because of the uncertainty of 1st of October. I decided that day that I will remain in Bamenda and I will witness it. On that day, I want to believe, I braved the odds and I left my house where I'm staying and I went to the road. There was no fly on the road. Nobody, nothing there. I moved around 100 meters and I went back to the house. But the next day, if you see the number of people that entered Bamenda, you will not believe. It's just like every Tuesday that you are going up to Bamenda, if you see the number of people that are at Matazan going up to Bamenda, they have more than 3,000 people entering Bamenda every Tuesday, meaning that they love to stay in Bamenda. But
the conditions are not favorable.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Mangavina, should you conclude with your points so that we get the second one?
Correct. That's what I was saying, that the operation is a welcomed one. It is good to comb out all those unwanted elements from the society so as to permit civilians to live a normal life, a normal human life. But then the way it is being carried out, and one thing is, it is still for now only in the main
the regional
city.
capital.
Yes, Bamenda. And the governor promised that it will be going to other divisions as well. And I was asking myself that when it will go to other divisions, I hope that the military will at least relax the way they are carrying out, because the strategy, like I'm saying, the idea is a good one, but the way it is being carried out, we cannot suspect everybody. When you suspect everybody, you scare everybody away from you. And given the fact that the military cannot understand the terrain as the Amber Boys will do, they need some information from the locals if they are to succeed. So in order to realize, to achieve their target, they need to make the civilians their friend, making them their friend. Although when they preach, is like Kimbang was saying, that the information that leaves the office is different and the activities on the field are different. Yes, it is as if they tell them, once you go to the field, you need to operate within conventional norms. But when they get to the fields, things change and they operate different in a different way.
Yeah, so that what we're saying is practically very true, because when you travel from Douala to Bamenda, you know this issue of face masks. Police still collect money from people because of face masks.
Okay.
Which is not what, I don't think that in the office they've been instructed to do that.
Of course, money is not face mask.
Money is not face mask.
Yes.
The other day I bought a taxi from Commercial Avenue, like then the military vehicle just sound an alarm behind us, and the man was struggling to clear off. He said, "Don't vote papier," and they took some money from him. Those are type of anger. I was saying that if we don't love each other like brothers, like sisters, if you don't feel my pains, if I don't feel your pains, and we are only crying that President Pobe will do magic, that magic will not work.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Has the operation brought security in the region? Kimbang Vitalis, you have the floor. You think that yes, it has to a greater extent brought security in the region?
For now, I can say it has brought security into the region because, as I said, I've been in Bamenda now for 1 week, and I've not heard any gunshot, and I've not seen people running up and down. So I want to believe that if the military go to the field and they do what they have been instructed in the offices to do, things will be very, very normal. Because the previous weeks in Bamenda, it was a week of running up and down, But I want to believe that for last week that I was in Bamenda the whole week, I did not even hear a gunshot. Places were calm. People were drinking. I was even surprised that by 7 o'clock in the evening, a friend was still calling to invite me out. Although I told him I cannot go. That shows that the operation, at least to a certain extent, has succeeded.
Has brought relative peace.
Yes.
Or calm.
But let's pray, and we are praying that it should not be that the tactical withdrawal by the separatist fighters to come back and do more harm to the population. I want to
because that's my question. By the time the military takes off back to their various oppositions, will the armor not come back?
Yes,
because the operation cannot last for long.
That is what
we will not last
that's
forever.
What we are praying. If truly the Amber fighters are fighting for us, they should protect our interests. They should not be a threat to us. They should not be like coming to maybe to vandalize students who are going to school. If there is no society on earth that can grow without people being educated, so the Amber fighters should know that at the end of this crisis, people are going. There must be a dialogue, and during that dialogue, illiterates are not going to sit on the table.
Of course.
Those who are going to sit on the table are those who master the history of Southern Cameroon, who will dare now to argue the case of Southern Cameroon. So if you deprive children of education, where are we going to have another Carlson Anyangwe tomorrow? Where shall we have another Ayok Tabi or all those intellectuals that came up? My plea is that let children go to school.
All right. Mangavena Shoes, the operation has not brought security. Why do you say so?
Yes, Vanessa, because when you look at it, that's why I used so I said, the fact that the sun is not shining does not mean that the sun is not up there. It may be just clouds that are covering up the sun. Mr. Kamban is talking about particularly Bamenda city, where there has been no gun. But then, in the region as a whole, the crisis is still ongoing. I was reading some information from Bui division that some people were killed just between along the Kumbo Bamenda road between Sob Jakiri coming down towards the Ngokitunja division. The crisis is still ongoing, and it would have been as if the keeping Bamenda clean would mean that the other regions, if the other areas of the region were safe, then we would say that it has brought security. There is no security in the region as of now. As I'm saying, it is not easy to travel from the interior parts of the region to the main city. It is not easy at all, because the roads are still closed. I was talking about conventional checkpoints and unorthodox checkpoints that are being mounted. The military is there on their own checkpoint. Amber boys are there on their own checkpoint, and it is not easy for people to go through. We are talking about the military, people not being friendly to the military. Vice versa, it is the same case. Once you show proofs that you are cooperating with the Amber boys, the military comes for you. Once the Amber boys notice that you are cooperating with the military, they come for you. Security has not yet returned in the northwest and southwest region, because each and every person is still a suspect. The military suspect the civilians suspect the military, the civilians suspect the Ambers suspect the civilian, and the chain continues as such. So I think that if we have to talk about security, it should come to a point where I feel free. Remember, before this crisis, you could leave Bamenda and you are going up to Boy Division, to Nongamatun Division at midnight. Nothing happens. But now, even in your house, you don't sleep. I remember my father-in-law was telling me the other day that they slept, and about 3 a.m. they had to leave their village because they got the fact that the Amber boys were coming. Because they had to run away. In fact, you don't know when they can come. You don't know when the military can come. You don't know when the Ambers could come.
Mr. Mange, let me intervene. When I listen to the leaders of the separatist movement, like what we are saying, that information leaves the office is not what is practiced on the field. But when we talk about this issue of Amber, because there are thieves that have grouped themselves up.
Correct.
And they call themselves Ambas. And they harass the population. Because I've been listening to the both sides. When I listen to the separatist fighters, they used to give strict instruction that the Amba fighters should make sure that they protect the civilian by all possible means. But I'm surprised that people see Amba and they are running.
Yes.
People see this, they are running. Then secondly, there's one thing that people have been making mistake, that have been moving. I'm even surprised that even those who are educated, they still make that error. They think that by holding children at home, international bodies will come in to give them independence. No. Independence cannot come by holding children at home. And many people are making mistake of comparing our own case with that of Ghana. Ghana was not fighting for independence. These are two different scenarios, two different histories. So there is no way we'll keep our children home and we'll say that international body will intervene to give us independence or to give Southern Cameroon independence. The only thing is that keeping children at home is a human right abuse. You abuse the right of education for that child. So I will plead that as we have started this year, please let the separatist fighters allow children to go to school freely.
All right, Manga Venashus, you are concluding as well.
Actually, Vanessa, it would be the plea of every other Anglophone to make sure that, because we continue insisting on this fact that children should leave Bamenda, leave Southwest, and come to the other regions to go to school, we are seeing the conditions of life that they are going through here, in this other part of the country, and they cannot survive. They are traumatized, first of all, and when they have to come here now and meet unhealthy conditions that they are living in, Vanessa, if you see what others are going through, you will never, you support the idea that they should remain this way. I think that is high time we gave them that opportunity to go to school also, like each and every one of us did. Those who are insisting that they should not go to school, they forget that it is only through education that we can come to a solution to this crisis. If we keep deceiving ourselves that we can do so and solve the problem, we are instead aggravating the situation.
And the sad truth is that those who are insisting that school should not go in the Northwest and Southwest are not those who are living there.
Correct.
They are those who are living out of the region, and their children are going to school
country,
very
probably.
well.
All right.
So that is the height of wickedness that I see in some people.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Kimba Vitali, say it has been a pleasure. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. At least it's my pleasure being here once more.
Manga Venashus, hope to have you again tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be there.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching Viewpoint. Do not forget that the time has been shifted from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. So tune in on TBS television at 6 p.m. to watch Viewpoint. See you tomorrow. God willing. Goodbye and good night.